Good morning, everyone. I'm Amarjot Sandhu, Member of Provincial Parliament from the Great Riding of Brampton West. Good morning, everyone. I would like to start off by welcoming you all to the Great Riding of Brampton West. It is great to be here with the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chrystia Freeland, and my federal counterpart, Minister Khera, and Fed MPs Ruby Sohota, Shafqat Ali, and Sonia Sidhu, and my provincial colleagues and Minister of Transportation, Prabmeet Sarkaria, and Graham McGregor, and also Deputy Mayor Singh and the entire council. Today's announcement is a demonstration of when all three levels of government work together to get things done. I'm truly delighted to be here as we celebrate our joint collaboration to improve services and infrastructure, enhance accessibility, and promote sustainability for the people of Peel region. As one of Canada's fastest growing regions, it is so important that we step up to the challenge and build for the next generation. With that being said, I'm honored to turn it over to our Deputy Prime Minister to make this exciting announcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hear people chuckling because of my step. Thank you for that warm introduction. I am so happy to be here in Brampton today. It is great to have colleagues from all three levels of government. I'm going to offer a special shout out to my colleagues, my federal colleagues. Minister Khera, Kamal, she's here. She'll be speaking in a minute. Shafqat, Sonia, Ruby are also here. And we're here together because it's a great day for Brampton and for Peel region. I do also, before I dive into the announcement, want to say thank you so much to everyone who works here for the warm welcome and for the work you do every day. I want to thank the people at the call center, the ladies we met there. I want to thank the dispatchers. I want to thank the mechanics for their hard work. We met some trainee bus drivers who just finished their road tests. They've done 5 weeks of training. They all passed, and they're going to start driving buses in Brampton on Monday morning. I think that's great. And I do want to offer a special shout out to a wonderful woman I had a chance to chat with a little bit called Susan. She's right behind you. She's standing on the steps of her bus. Susan has been driving a bus, I hope I get this right, for more than 14 years. She told me she loves it. She works really hard. She works from 4:30 in the morning to 4 o'clock at night. She does that 5 days a week. She has 2 kids, and you know, there is a little sign by her driver's seat that says, you know, please, like, don't be mean to the driver. Let's not be mean to bus drivers. And I asked Susan about that, and I said, you know, are people mean to you or not? And she was really polite. She's a good Canadian. But it was clear people sometimes are. She says she tries to be understanding, and also that she tries to think about each passenger on her bus as if they are her child, and to be really caring towards them. And I just want to say thank you very much, Susan, for that, and especially for all the kids in Brampton when they ride your bus. I bet they really do feel safe and cared for. So thanks a lot. I'd like to give you a hand. I'm going to talk about our announcement in a minute, but before doing that, I just want to highlight some really good economic news that we had in Canada this week. Earlier this week, the Bank of Canada lowered interest rates. Canada was the first G7 country to lower interest rates, and it's the first time in more than 4 years that rates have gone down. This is really welcome news for everyone in Brampton, in the Peel region, in the GTA, in Ontario, and in Canada. It's going to make life a little bit easier for every single person who is here. And I'm really glad. Notre gouvernement a un plan financièrement responsable. Nous avons travaillé très fort pour créer des conditions économiques qui ont permis à la banque de baisser les taux d'intérêt. Et nous voyons maintenant le résultat de ce travail. Le Canada est le premier pays du G7 à profiter d'une baisse des taux d'intérêt. Notre plan économique fonctionne. Our government is taking action to ensure fairness for every generation, to make Canada a country that works better for you. We're moving with purpose to help build more homes faster. We're making life cost less, and we are driving the kind of economic growth that will ensure every generation of Canadians can reach their full potential and have access to a great middle-class life. Notre pays fonctionne le mieux lorsque notre économie est en croissance et que toutes les générations ont accès à plus de possibilités. L'un des moyens de stimuler ce type de croissance économique est d'investir dans nos infrastructures. We know investments in infrastructure, in public transit are absolutely essential. So that's why I am really happy that we have some great news to share today. I'm really happy to announce that the federal government is investing $6.97 million in the Peel region through the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. That means Brampton is receiving nearly $4.9 million to support the purchase of 15 conventional buses and to upgrade them with necessary equipment like fare systems. And that's not all. Peel region is receiving over $1.6 million to help purchase 23 accessible buses to replace existing specialized transit vehicles. On top of that, we're investing $400,000 to help purchase 2 electric TransHelp buses and install 2 battery charging stations. And I know we're going to hear more about that from the Deputy Mayor of Brampton, because he has been talking to me with real enthusiasm about the work being done here to have more electric and hydrogen-powered public transit. We are really glad to support that great work. The Government of Ontario is also investing $5.8 million, and the City of Brampton and Peel region are investing a combined $4.6 million. One of the things that makes me really happy to be here today is that this announcement is a great example of the amazing things we can do in Canada when everyone works together. You have here today all 3 levels of government working together: the federal government, the province, the municipalities. We have all put our heads together, come up with a plan to support the people of Peel and Brampton, and all of us have chipped in some money. Together, we're investing a total of $17.4 million to improve public transit for the people of Brampton and the Peel region. Nous comprenons qu'il est essentiel d'investir dans des infrastructures de transport en commun fiables et durables. Cela permet d'assurer la croissance économique. Cela permet aussi à la population canadienne et ses communautés de rester connectées alors qu'elles grandissent. These investments will help ensure a safe, reliable, and comfortable experience for all the users of local public transit here in Brampton. As our population continues to grow, it's more important than ever that we build the right infrastructure now so that we have a prosperous and sustainable future for everyone. Because you deserve a city that grows with you. by continuing to invest in Canada's growing cities, in wonderful communities like Brampton, and the public transit and infrastructure that you need, the federal government is ensuring that our communities and our economy can continue to grow. Public transit connects Canadians and gets them to and from work, school, and home. It makes our communities appealing places where people can and want to live, play, and raise families. Le transport en commun donne à tout le monde une chance équitable d'accéder physiquement à des ressources qui, autrement, seraient trop éloignées. C'est pourquoi le gouvernement fédéral a fait de l'investissement dans les infrastructures une grande priorité. Together, we can open the door to the middle class for more and more Canadians. I am so glad to be working on this with the City of Brampton and Peel Region, and of course, with the Province of Ontario. And so I am now glad to hand it over to Prabmeet Sarkaria, Ontario's Minister of Transport. And he's a guy who may not need the step. I'm standing up. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for being here, to the Deputy Prime Minister as well for the kind introduction. Many of my colleagues and members of Parliament from the City of Brampton, including Amarjot Sandhu, the MPP for Brampton West, Graham McGregor, the MPP for Brampton North, and also with my many friends and colleagues from a municipal council led today by Deputy Mayor Harkirat Singh. It's always a pleasure when we can all collectively work together for exciting announcements like today, but I also do want to take an opportunity to thank Brampton Transit right now, led by Alex and his team, and many of the workers that we've met today, from the maintenance team to the control room to the dispatch to some of our drivers as well. Thank you for everything that you do, and I think it's important to highlight that the City of Brampton has really led the charge post-pandemic on transit recovery, already seeing over 100% recovery of our transit systems. And so a big part of that goes to the council, our mayor, deputy mayor, and colleagues for promoting public transit and really making it more accessible, and to all of those people who are working behind the scenes day and night to make sure that our buses are safe, that those who are riding those buses are trained in a proper manner. And so thank you to Brampton Transit for all that you do. Today really marks another milestone in this city with additional supports, as the Deputy Prime Minister has announced, and the support of the provincial and municipal governments. The province will be investing $5.8 million. This will help replace existing specialized transit vehicles. It will help improve transit accessibility, and it will help build a stronger public transportation system for everyone living in Brampton and Peel Region. By 2051, we know that the Greater Golden Horseshoe will have a population of almost 15 million people. While this is an amazing testament to our thriving economy, we know that if we don't take bold and new decisive action to expand our transportation network, we know exactly what to expect. The roads will fill up, public transit will overfill, and the gridlock, which already costs our economy about $11 billion every single year, will get that much worse. That's why, as a government, we are investing $70 billion over the next 10 years to support investments and to transform public transit in the province. That is the largest transit expansion in all of North America. We have also just recently declared a very important milestone for the City of Brampton, which I want to also acknowledge both the mayor and the entire council. The Hazel-McCallion line extensions into both Brampton and into downtown Mississauga have been declared a transit priority project by Premier Doug Ford in our government. Brampton and Mississauga are two of our province's fastest growing cities, and our governments are here to ensure the people of Peel Region have access to fast, reliable transit today, not tomorrow. The Hazel-McCallion extensions will be a game changer for transit users in Peel Region. Our government is also making historic investments of $28 billion over the next 10 years to support commitments on highways, roads, and bridges that will connect Ontarians to good-paying jobs, housing, and other countless opportunities. We are going full steam ahead with projects like Highway 413, the Bradford Bypass, that will save commuters and GTA commuters hours each week that they can spend with their families. Highway 413 alone will support 3,500 jobs during each year of construction, contributing hundreds of millions of dollars to our provincial GDP. This includes hundreds of good-paying jobs in the electrical trades where you can buy a home, raise a family. So once again, I want to thank Minister Freeland, Minister Khera for their partnership in helping us to build a stronger Ontario for everyone. Today is another milestone in our plan to deliver a world-class public transportation network across this province that will support the growing needs and also help and support for those in generations to come. We look forward to working with our federal counterparts, our municipal counterparts, to continue investing in transit. And with that, I will now pass it over to Minister Khera. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Prab. Hello, everyone. Bonjour, tout le monde. Thank you, Prab. It's always good to see you. It's always great to be here in the beautiful riding of Brampton West. First and foremost, I'm pleased to welcome the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Chrystia Freeland, to Brampton West today. I was in Chrystia's riding yesterday, so we said, you got to make a trip down to Brampton today, but it's always good to have you in our community of Brampton. And I also have to say it's so incredible to be here alongside our Brampton caucus colleagues Shafqat Ali, Ruby Sahota, Maninder Sidhu, and Sania Sidhu. And of course, to be joined alongside our provincial and municipal leaders in our community. I too want to take a moment just to recognize and thank the Brampton Transit for not just hosting us today, but for the incredible work that you do in keeping our community moving. To all the drivers, to all the maintenance staff, to the dispatchers, the leadership of Alex and Heidi, thank you. And of course, the leadership of the ATU Local 1573, thank you so much for the work that you do in supporting our community. And, I have to say it's always so great to be back here at the Sandalwood Transit Facility. I really can't think of a better place for today's announcement. This really is a very, very, very special place. I will tell you, back in 2015, when we first got elected, more than half of this facility actually didn't exist. And one of the very first announcements that I remember that I made alongside my colleagues that we made together was an expansion of this beautiful Brampton Transit facility. And over the years, with many more announcements that we made here alongside, and thanks to the hundreds of millions of dollars that we have invested, and with the cooperation of all orders of government, we've been able to build this facility and our electric bus fleet from the ground up. And I will tell you, it started here. It started right here. And I can tell you it has truly transformed our Brampton community in so many ways. And this place is a true testament to what we can accomplish when everyone steps up and works together. And today we get to be here to celebrate another big investment in Brampton's transportation system. The over $17 million that is being announced today is yet another important step in our work to support residents right here in our community. As a result of these funds, the City of Brampton, the Region of Peel, will be able to expand their current fleet of buses and purchase more specialized, accessible transit buses for all members of our community. These new buses are going to go a long way in making our transit system here in Brampton more accessible, more modern, and ultimately get more people where they want to go. And when you talk about public transit investments, these investments aren't just about transit. They're also investments in families, they're investments in communities, they're investments in jobs for our community. That is why since 2015, our government has invested more than $30 billion to support transit right here in Brampton and cities right across the country. Because at the end of the day, public transit isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about building vibrant communities, connected communities where everyone has an opportunity to thrive. It's about creating a more sustainable, more resilient, and connected future for generations to come. And our government will continue to step up, show leadership, and work with all orders of government and transit authorities to make that more sustainable, resilient, and connected future a reality for our community here in Brampton and in communities right across the country. Thank you. Merci. And with that, it is my pleasure to invite our outstanding Deputy Mayor of Brampton, Harkirat Singh. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Khera, for the very kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm Harkirat Singh, Deputy Mayor of the City of Brampton. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. This is an exciting day for the City of Brampton. I would like to thank our federal and provincial partners here today. I would like to acknowledge my council colleagues here today. We have behind us, we have Councillor Pleshy, Councillor Vicente, we have Councillor Tour, Councillor Power, and Councillor Keenan as well. We actually have quorum today here. As well, I would like to acknowledge our General Manager of Brampton Transit, Heidi Dempster. I want to take a moment to recognize our Brampton staff. I see our transit operators, maintenance staff, the whole transit team, corporate staff. From myself, Mayor Brown, and City Council in particular, and our provincial and federal counterparts, I want to say thank you. Thank you for everything you do. We're extremely proud to work alongside you. So as many of you know, Brampton is the 9th largest city in Canada and is the fastest growing of the 25 largest cities across the country. We are big believers in transit. Our residents confirm it every day. We are home to the fastest growing transit system in Canada, with ridership significantly outpacing population growth. In the decade leading up to the pandemic, Brampton's ridership grew by 160%, which was absolutely unprecedented compared to the provincial and national averages over the same period. Today, while many transit agencies are still struggling to recover from the pandemic, and this number always shocks me, Brampton's ridership is approximately 40% higher than pre-COVID levels. Wow. This remarkable growth is a testament to the value and effectiveness of our services. To address this extraordinary growth, we are creating a modern, integrated transit system by enhancing regional transit connections, increasing connectivity to transit infrastructure, offering sustainable transportation alternatives, and implementing advanced and environmentally friendly technologies. Thank you. Brampton is very excited by the environmentally friendly technologies in particular. We're leading transit electrification with a strong commitment to decarbonizing our transit fleet and facilities in order to meet the city's corporate greenhouse gas emission reduction targets. In 2021, the city launched the largest global deployment of interoperable battery electric buses and high-powered overhead opportunity chargers, with plans to add 10 more electric buses in 2025 as part of our transition to a fully electric zero-emission transit fleet. Brampton has Brampton has finalized its zero-emission bus implementation strategy and rollout plan, an important step in reducing emissions and improving the quality of life of our residents. This is an investment in the long-term health of our community. Today's announcement marks a positive step forward. However, sustained investment in key initiatives such as completing the Hazen-McCallion LRT into downtown Brampton, developing the Queen Street BRT, and electrifying our transit system is essential. And I had a great conversation with the Deputy Prime Minister about that, and I'm certain we will get the much needed support we need. These efforts will help Brampton continue to meet the public transit goals shared by all levels of government. We look forward to future funding partnerships with both federal and provincial governments. I have to give a shout out. We have our provincial partners here. We have our federal partners here. We have an amazing alignment. We had the Deputy Prime Minister here just a few weeks ago. So Brampton is getting the attention it needs. And thank you on behalf of myself and City Council for all your support. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Chris Glover with C. My question is for the Deputy Prime Minister. I want to talk about the list of politicians that hasn't been made public from the report on foreign interference. And the question is your government prepared to send voters to the polls without knowing if the person that they're voting for is colluding with a foreign power?
Okay, thank you for the question. And let me start by saying our government takes foreign interference in Canada, in Canadian democracy, very seriously. We have put in place more tools to fight foreign interference than any previous government. Our colleague, the Minister of Public Safety, testified extensively on this issue to the House of Commons Committee yesterday. One of the things he said, which I'd like to reinforce, is that law enforcement bodies of jurisdiction are seized of the issue.
A quick answer to that question?
Please don't put words in my mouth. Let me be clear. We take foreign interference in Canadian democracy very seriously, as I think do all Canadians. I think we all know how precious our democracy is, how lucky we are to live in a democracy, and that this is a time in the world when democracy is under threat. That's why our government has put in place enhanced tools to fight foreign interference in Canada. That's important, and we've done that. Our colleague, the Minister of Public Safety, testified at length before the House of Commons Committee yesterday about this issue. Among other things, he said that the appropriate law enforcement bodies are seized of the issue, and I have nothing to add today beyond that.
Would you mind repeating
Next
in French?
question.
En français, s'il vous plaît?
Merci pour la question. Évidemment, notre gouvernement et je pense tous les Canadiens et Canadiennes prennent l'ingérence étrangère très au sérieux. Notre démocratie canadienne est très précieuse pour nous tous et nous devons tous la défendre. C'est pourquoi notre gouvernement a mis en place des outils, des lois pour mieux défendre la démocratie canadienne et pour mieux lutter contre l'ingérence étrangère. On a fait ça et c'est la bonne chose à faire. Mon collègue, le ministre de la Sécurité publique, hier a témoigné devant la comité de la Chambre de communes concernant cet enjeu. Il a souligné, entre autres, que les autorités policières sont saisies par cet enjeu.
Okay, thank you. Our second question is for Minister Khera.
That was a question and one follow-up. It'll be next
Yeah.
question.
Okay, so new numbers from your office show the disability benefit will only impact 20.
Let him.
This is the follow-up.
It's okay. Do you want
Okay,
Khera?
so-
That's okay. It's okay. Let him. That's okay.
Okay, so the second question is for Minister Khera. New numbers from your office show the disability benefit will only impact 25,000 Canadians when your government promised it would lift hundreds of thousands. What is your message to advocates who say that you have broken your promise on that?
I think first and foremost, I think it's important to recognize the fact that for the first time ever, we have a statutory benefit in Canada, disability benefit. And I want to take a moment to thank the relentless advocacy of the disability advocates for actually making that happen. I will tell you, in this particular budget, we got the single largest line item in this budget, with $6.1 billion for the first ever Canada disability benefit. And thank Chrystia for making that happen. That is going to support more than 600,000, some of the most vulnerable, poorest individuals with disabilities in this country. I can tell you one of my biggest priorities right now is to make sure that we work alongside provinces and territories to ensure that there are no clawbacks to the benefits that we have put forward. I look forward to working alongside all members of my provincial counterparts across this country to make that happen. Thank you.
Next question.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Manan Gupta, representing Road Today, and welcome to all the dignitaries. And I'm absolutely excited to see Minister Khera for bringing all the announcements here at Sandalwood facility, because looking back 9 years ago when the first announcement was made, I remember visiting at the rear end of this building, which is actually the start of the building. But now we are coming almost to the end of the area. So thank you for all those enhancements, and also congratulations to Minister Sarkaria for retaining his portfolio in the yesterday's reshuffle. My question is regarding the very effective and need of public transit. You know, as we all know, this is the economic capital of Canada, the Greater Toronto Hamilton area, and any investment made in public transit is going to help every sector, every community, every phase of this area. So I'm really pleased that some investments have been made today. But since the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister has been now a frequent traveler to Brampton, frequent visitor to Brampton, and you're welcome to come again, are we looking forward to some big cash infusements for the projects which Honorable Minister Sarkaria mentioned about the extension of Hazel McCallion LRT, not only to downtown Brampton, but also extended to this part of the city, because ultimately this is the growth area going beyond Caledon, Orangeville, and things like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for the question, and I do want to highlight two things. The first is, one of the reasons that I am glad to be back in Brampton for the second time in a couple of weeks is what you're seeing here in this community is a great example of what we can do when all levels of government work together. And I think you heard that in our remarks. You heard the City of Brampton, you heard the Province of Ontario, you heard the federal government, all really singing from the same songbook, all committed together to public transit, to greener public transit, to making life better and easier for the people who live in this growing and vibrant community. And to me, it's just a great example of the way that Canada works best. When we all just focus on people and focus on making their lives better. So I do want to say thank you very, very much to my fellow deputy, the Deputy Mayor, Mayor Singh of Brampton. Thank you very much to the Minister of Transport. We can do so much when we work together, and we are all committed to this amazing community. Second of all, on public transit, we heard from the Deputy Mayor some astonishing statistics about how popular public transit is, how the people of Brampton are really using it. That speaks to me of an effective public transit system that is making it appealing, that is making it convenient in people's lives to use public transit. And I do really want to salute the people who work here at Brampton Transit. We saw a little bit how hard you work. We saw, the dispatchers working with the people at the control center, figuring out which routes are busiest, which buses have closed doors, thinking about maybe they have to have more buses at particular times on those routes. That is really great to see. Kamal and I don't have any announcements to make today beyond the one we've made. But I do want to say we really recognize what a vital and growing community Brampton is. We recognize how effectively public transit is developing and being used in this community, and we are always happy to keep on talking about ways that we can continue to support public transit in this amazing, amazing city. Thanks.
Thank you. My follow-up is related to the growing direction given by the federal government towards electrification, zero-emission vehicles and things like that. And as you know, region of Peel, this area is the logistics capital of trucking and supply chain. I was wondering what kind of initiatives all levels of government are making to make more electrification available, like charging stations, because unless those charging stations are made, it is very difficult for people to be motivated enough to invest in electric vehicles and even commercial vehicles. Thank you.
I'll say a couple of things, and I don't know, maybe the deputy mayor will want to say some things too, because I know that it's one of his particular areas of focus. It's a great question, and today's announcement included investments in electric charging stations and in electric vehicles for public transit here in Brampton. That is a great area that the city is working on, that also, I think, makes life better and the air cleaner for people who are living here, and it's something we're keen to continue to support. I also want to point out the tremendous economic benefit that the people of Ontario are already getting from our collective investments by the federal government and by the province in the EV sector more broadly. It's absolutely about making our air cleaner. It's about doing our part, but this is also a huge investment in jobs for the people of Ontario and Canada. And I am really proud that Canada today is ranked by Bloomberg as the #1 country when it comes to the EV battery supply chain. We are ahead of China when it comes to building that industry. That is a huge accomplishment by our country. It is a huge accomplishment of different levels of government working together, and it also really speaks to the great future that we have economically, the great jobs that we're building together. Thanks.
Next question.
Maybe let me Deputy Mayor. He's very intimate.
I actually was talking to somebody yesterday. I don't think they'll mind. I was talking to Falcon Trucking, and we were talking exactly about this. And so we've seen community centers and other recreational facilities we're investing in chargers and EV stations. And the next step is to deploy those in an area where obviously trucking can also access them. And I know the industry is also looking at this, you yourself being well connected to the industry. But it was nice to see our local Brampton companies also looking at this. So some have already used propane. They're already, for local trucking routes, they're using propane trucks. But the conversation about hydrogen, electrification, that's happening, which is exciting. And I think when the trucking industry gets on one platform and has a strategy about which ones and what the mix is going to be in the very near future, I think you'll see a lot of support from our federal, provincial, and municipal partners. But it's an exciting time and very relevant to the conversations that's actually been happening in the industry, especially for local Brampton companies. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasant afternoon, everybody. This is Hamreen Kaur from Punjab TV. Brampton is one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. as the city is set to welcome new buses, improve transit facilities, one question that arises is that will there be any changes in the schedule of the buses as well? Because we see that between two buses, there's a waiting period around 15 to 20 minutes, and sometimes it's more depending on the peak hours. So will there be any change in the waiting periods as well? And yeah, follow-up questions.
Just move it to the side. Yes, make it easier for everybody.
Sorry, thank you. Would you mind just repeating the last part of the question, if you don't mind?
So I meant that there is approximately 15 to 20 minutes waiting times between two buses, which sometimes gets to around 25-30 minutes depending on the peak hours. So will Bramptonians get to see a decrease in the waiting periods?
Absolutely. So as a general philosophy throughout our scheduling department, we look at all the routes and the waiting times and how many boardings we have. This council has probably increased the most service hours this year in terms of addressing, as our deputy mayor already mentioned, post-pandemic, Brampton's experienced the largest growth across Canada at 40%. So this year alone, we're implementing, I believe, over 100,000 service hours and hiring, as our Deputy Prime Minister mentioned, with the training departments that are training a new drivers. So we are addressing the capacity issues, and we are looking at target areas where we can reduce the frequency to serve our community.
Okay.
Thank you.
My follow-up question will be to one of our MPPs. City of Brampton welcomed One Tap program with open arms. However, if we shed light upon, will there be any decrease in the bus fares? And if not bus fares, because we know, lately there was a hike in bus fares, but will there be a decrease in the One Tap as well? Because we see, looking at the peak hours, people tend to commute in buses, and which is the One Tap program is just for 2 hours, right? That One Tap. So will there be an increase in the tap as well, which would be great for the city of Brampton and Bramptonians especially?
Yeah, thank you for that question. The One Fare integration program has been a really important part about increasing accessibility for transit for users across different networks, especially in the GTHA. The estimated cost saving for each transit user is over $1,600. And this has been direct conversations with many transit users that we speak to each and every single day. I've spoken to many of my some of the younger students that use first jump on from a Brampton Transit, get to a GO station, from a GO station to TTC all the way up to TMU University, and they can ultimately almost in some cases save $6, $5 per trip. And so our desire has also always been from an affordability lens, and how do we encourage more people to get onto a network, and how do we ensure that when we're traveling, say if it's from Mississauga to Brampton, or from Scarborough to Brampton, Scarborough to using the TTC to a GO train, that we make that as seamless of an opportunity as possible. So we'll continue to look at that program, and we'll continue to see how we can collectively as a government embrace ways to encourage even more ridership through those programs. We've had almost in the last check, quarterly report, over 5 million taps using the One Fare program. So that's a significant, I would say, uptick in individuals being able to take advantage of this. And we've been hearing great things about it, and we'll continue to monitor and look at other ways to improve that access for transit users. But thank you.
Next question.
I think I'm up. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
And border agents possibly striking, your reaction to that, and I guess there could be some kind of a standstill with goods being delivered across the border. What do you have to say to business people, and how will this affect the economy?
Thank you for the question. It is something our government is very seized of, very focused on. The parties are at the table working hard, and our view is the best deals are reached at the table. That's what we are very much working towards and hoping for. And I do share your view about the absolute importance of trade to Canada and of goods moving efficiently and effectively across our borders.
The deadline coming soon. Once again, are you optimistic about getting a deal? And what do you have to say to families, people who are planning on traveling, and how it can inconvenience them?
This is absolutely an important issue. Our government is very seized of it. Parties are at the table working hard. The best deals are reached at the table.
Good morning, Minister Freeland, Global News. Does your government support the building of Highway 413?
Thanks for the question. We recognize the importance of transit. We recognize the importance of effective public transit. We recognize the importance of preserving our green belt and our agricultural lands here in Ontario. And look, we know Canada is a growing country and we need to build out all forms of transit. And beyond that, this is an issue for the province to be focused on.
So you concede that the province has the right to build the highway?
I didn't say that.
Do you concede that the province has the right to build the highway?
Let me say this. Canada is a growing country. Ontario is a growing province. We are in a growing region of this province. We know how important public transit is, and we are very focused on that, and that's why I'm glad to be here to be making this investment in public transit. We really recognize how important and precious the Greenbelt is and agricultural lands are, and we recognize more broadly we need to be building out infrastructure across our province, and I don't have anything more to say on that.
Hi, this is Taran from Red FM. So my question is, India is again going to have Modi government, and from the last some couple of months, we have seen the diplomatic relations between India and Canada. India is home to many, Canada is home to many Indians too, and what are your hopes and with the newly elected Indian government, which is going to take oath on Sunday, as it is a matter of concern for many Indians who are living in Canada too?
Thank you for the question. It's important for Canada to have effective, constructive working relationships with all of our international partners. And India is certainly an important and significant international partner and a rising global economy. And we work hard to maintain effective and constructive relationships. It's also absolutely important for us as a country to stand up for Canada and Canadians here in Canada, and that will always be our priority, overriding every other.
Thank you. My next question is to our city representatives. As peak hours concept is old for Brampton now, each and every hour is full. The roads are, there are so much traffic on the road. How are you going to encourage the Bramptonians to use our transit, as they are paying high insurance, auto insurance, but because of our buses are always full?
Yeah, so Brampton, as we know, is growing extremely fast, and unfortunately the infrastructure wasn't able to catch on, because things we should be investing on now should have been invested on decades ago. Having said that, we are working closely with our provincial and federal partners. You see the great alignment. We've gotten the LRT closer to completion than we've ever seen. BRT is moving along in the cycle of getting approval. We're almost near the end of that. So I think public transit is the key to alleviate all these pressures. Once we have the infrastructure, once we invest more in buses, we have our budget coming up in the next few months, you'll see naturally the pressures on the current infrastructure will decrease and more people will start using public transit. Right now, the demand pressures are just so high. So we have some short-term solutions coming in place with procuring more buses. And then in long term, we're also looking at infrastructure projects like LRT and BRT as well.
Thank you.
I think that concludes today's press conference. Merci tout le monde.